I stand before this court today to address matters concerning the rights, duties, and professional conduct of our nation's educators pursuant to the laws of Republic of the Philippines. Defending the Teacher's Law, Legal Explanation. PD 1006, Decree Professionalizing Teaching. Question number 1. A teacher refuses to attend seminars and trainings. What does PD 1006 say about continuing education? According to PD 1006, specifically Section 8, Board Duties, in conjunction with Section 3, Statement of Policy, the refusal to attend seminars and trainings is a failure to uphold the duty to continuously improve one's professional competence. The main idea is the maintenance of professional standards. The law dictates that the National Board for Teachers shall prescribe collegiate courses and other educational training programs for teachers to assure continuous improvement in the practice of professional. A licensed teacher has the duty to engage in such activities to keep their certification current and their skills relevant. Question number 2. A principal hires an unlicensed teacher because they are relatives. Is this legal? According to PD 1006, specifically Section 1, Statement of Policy, and Section 11, Teachers not required to take examination, the hiring of unlicensed teacher who is not exempt for the examination is illegal and constitutes a violation of the professionalization mandate. The main idea is that only qualified licensed professionals should be allowed to teach. The unlicensed relative has no right to practice the profession, and the principal has violated their duty to maintain the integrity of professional teaching, service by committing an act nepotism and bypassing the legal requirements for employment. Question number 3. A teacher performs administrative work but no longer teaches. Does PD 1006 still apply? According to PD 1006, specifically Section 2, Definition of Terms, which defines teaching as the profession concerned with the classroom instruction of all subjects, and teachers as thus performing supervisory, guidance, and research work related to teaching. The law still applies if the administrative work is connected to the academic, instructional function of the school. Example, curriculum planning, supervision of instruction. The main idea is that the law converts all professional educators. The individuals retains the right and duties to professional teacher, provided their administrative role and directly linked to educational services. Question number 4. How does PD 1006 define teaching as a noble profession? According to PD 1006, specifically Section 3, Statement of Policy, the law declares that teaching is a noble profession. The main idea is recognition and elevation of the status of teachers by professionalizing the field. The law grants teachers the right to be treated as a professionals, meaning they must possess minimum qualification and adhere the professional standards, thereby affirming the inherent dignity and societal importance of their duty to educate. Question number 5. What rights and responsibility does PD 1006 grant to licensed teachers? According to PD 1006, specifically Section 11, the examination, Section 12, issuance of certificates, and Section 14, suspension of revocation and certificates, licensed teachers are granted the right to practice the teaching profession, the right to certificate of registration. Correspondingly, they have the primary responsibility, duty to continuously perform their teaching duties with competence and dignity, adhering the standards and ethics set by the board. To prevent the suspension of revocation of their professional license. Question number 6. A teacher feels underpaid despite professionalization. What provision supports just compensation? According to PD 1006, while the law is primarily focused on the professionalization and licensing, the concept of noble profession, as stated in Section 3 Statement of Policy, implicitly supports the right to just compensation. The main idea is the professional status warrants commensurate remuneration, and licensed teacher has the right to compensation that is adequate and comparable to other licensed professionals, which the necessary component to uphold the dignity of the profession. Even though more explicit salary provisions are found in later law like RA 4670. Question number 7. Can a teacher license be suspended without due process? According to PD 1006, specifically Section 14, suspension of revocation and certificates, a teacher license cannot be suspended without due process. The main idea, the protection of teachers' right to their livelihood. The law states that the certificate may only suspended or revoked after due notice and hearing for specified causes, and teacher has the right to inform of the charge, present their defense, and confront witnesses before the competent authority, the Board of Professional Teachers, which is the essence of due process. Question number 8. How does PD 1006 elevate teaching as dignified profession in the Philippines? According to PD 1006, throughout the entirety, specifically Section 1, Statement of Policy, and 5, the examiners of teachers, the law elevates teaching by mandating a system of licensure examination and professional regulation. The main idea is the standardization of formal recognition and competence is the grant teachers the right to exclusive professional status, affirming their duty to public as practitioners who have met nationally defined standards, thereby distinguishing them from non-professionals. Question number 9. How does PD 1006 relate to PPST Domain 7 Professional Growth and Professional Development? According to PD 1006, specifically Section 3, Statement of Policy, as Section 8, Board Duties, the law is the foundation, legal pillars that mandates the professional growth and development requires the PPST Domain 7. The main idea, the legal requirements for continuous learning, the board's duty to prescribe educational programs is the precursor, the modern continuing professional development, CPD, thereby imposing on the teacher a duty to pursue personal and professional growth to maintain their personal license. Question number 10. A non-education graduate was hired as a teacher due to shortage in their allowed under PD 1006. According to PD 1006, specifically Section 11, teachers not required to take examination. The hiring of non-education graduate is generally not allowed unless they possess a baccalaureate degree with minimum education units of their fall under the specific exemption, though the exemptions are highly limited. Example, certain vocational teachers. The main idea is the preservation of professional entry standards. The unlicensed person has no right to teach without passing the license exam, and the hiring body violates its duty to prioritize licensed professionals, which undermines and core purpose of the decree. RA 7836, Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994. Question number 1. A teacher without let eligibility continues teaching in a private school. Is this valid? According to RA 7836, specifically Section 27, inhibition against the practice of the teaching profession. A person who is not a holder of valid professional license or one who has not been issued a temporary special permit is prohibited from practicing the teaching profession in any school, public or private. The main idea of the exclusive nature or the professional license, the teacher violates the duty to be licensed, and their continued practice is invalid and illegal, regardless of the private school setting. Question number 2. What penalties apply to a teacher who falsifies PRC credentials according to RA 7836? Specifically, Section 31, Penal Provision. Any person who shall use or attempts to use his own certificates of registration of another, or falsify or represent himself to be the holder of the certificate of registration is subject to penalties, which include a fine not less than more than, or imprisonment of not less than 6 months nor more than 6 years, or both, and their revocation of their license. The main idea is the protection of the integrity of professional documents. The teacher violates the duty of integrity and honesty. Question number 3. A teacher refuses to renew their PRC license. What are the consequences? According to RA 7836, specifically Section 27, inhibition against the practice of practicing profession in conjunction with relevant provisions of Section 19, continuing professional education. The refusal to renew a license result in prohibition to practice the teaching profession. The main idea is that licensure is an ongoing requirement. The teacher forfeits the right to practice until the license is renewed, and they violate their duty to maintain their professional status. Question number 4. How does RA 7836 protect the integrity of the LET? According to RA 7836, specifically Section 13 to 22, which detail the procedures for examination, and Section 31, Penal Provision, the integrity of LET is protected by defining clear, secure, and standardized processes for its administration and finalizing fraudulent acts. The main idea of safeguarding the gatekeeping function of examination, the law imposes the duty on the Professional Regulation Commission, PRC, to ensure the examination security, and imposes severe penalties on individuals who violate the system, protecting the licensed teacher right to fair assessment process. Question number 5. Can a teacher be assigned to teach outside their specialization? While RA 7836 does not explicitly prohibit this its core spirit expressed the Section 2 Statement of Policy to ensure and protect the public against incompetent and unqualified teachers strongly discourages it. The main idea is competence and qualified instruction, although practical necessities may sometimes dictate such assignments. A licensed teacher has the right to request specialized training or resist an assignment where their lack of expertise would violate the duty to provide quality instruction. Question number 6. A teacher migrates abroad and asks if their license is recognized. What provision applies? According to RA 7836, specifically Section 28, Foreign Reciprocity, the recognition of license depends on the existence of reciprocal agreement with the foreign country. The main idea of mutual recognition of professional standards, the law grants a foreign teachers and right to practice in the Philippines only if the home country grants the same privilege to Filipino teacher. Thus, the Filipino teacher license abroad is subject to duty of that country and adherence to the reciprocity clause. Question number 7. How does RA 7836 strengthen teachers' quality and competence? According to RA 7836, specifically Section 12, qualification requirements and applicants, and Section 15, scope of examination. The law strengthens quality of mandating a uniform rigorous national examination, or LET, that covers general education, professional education, and specialization. The main idea is setting and enforcing the national benchmark for professional entry. This grants licensed teachers the right to recognize as high-quality professionals based on their demonstration and competence in fulfillment of their duty to meet these standards. Question number 8. What remedies are available if a teacher's license is wrongfully suspended? According to RA 7836, specifically Section 30, appeal, a relation to Section 29, administrative investigation and primary remedy, is an appeal to the Secretary of Education, Culture, and Sports, now DepEd Secretary, and subsequently to the Civil Service Commission and or the courts. The main idea is the right to judicial and administrative review. The law grants the teacher the right to due process, allowing them to appeal any decision of the board that they believe has wrongfully violated their right to practice their profession. Question number 9. How is ethical conduct linked in professional licensing under RA 7836? According to RA 7836, specifically Section 22, Code of Professional Ethics for Teachers, and Section 23, Revocation of the Certificate, ethical conduct is inextricably linked to the professional licensing. The main idea is that ethical compliance is a condition of practice. The law mandates the adoption and compliance with a code of ethics, and violation of this code is a ground for the revocation of suspension of the license. The teacher has duty to adhere the ethics to retain the right to practice. Question number 10. How does RA 7836 support the PPST framework for teacher quality? According to RA 7836, the entire Act supports the PPST framework by establishing the legal foundation for a quality teaching force. The main idea is the legal basis for professional standards by requiring the LET, establishing professional standards, and mandating a code of ethics. The law ensures that all teachers possess a minimum qualifications and professional duty to adhere to the competencies standards outlined across all domains of PPST, protecting the public right to quality education. Letter C. RA 6713, Code of Conduct for Public Officials and Employees. Question number 1. A teacher accept a gift from a student parent. Is this ethical? According to RA 6713, specifically Section 7, Prohibited Acts and Transactions, Paragraph D, public officials and employees are generally prohibited from soliciting or accepting any gift, present, offer, or promise from any person in the course of their official duties, were it given an anticipation of or exchange for a favor. The main idea is avoiding conflict of interest, while unsolicited gift is nominal value may be exemption. The teacher violates the duty to avoid receiving gift and could compromise their objectivity, even if they have the right to personal life. Question number 2. A teacher publicly criticizes school leaders on social media. Does this violate RA 6713? According to RA 6713, specifically Section 4, Norms of Conduct of Public Officials and Employees, Paragraph C, responsiveness to the public, and Paragraph H, on commitment of public service. A public distraction, criticism, may be violation of it causes undue discredit of the public service or impairs the efficiency of school system. The main idea is respect for the chain of command and public trust. The teacher has the constitutional right to freedom to expression, but this right is limited by the duty to act with professionalism to promote commitment to the service, avoiding actions that undermine public confidence and in the institution. Question number 3. A teacher uses school materials for private tutoring. What ethical rule applies? According to RA 6713, specifically Section 7, Prohibited Acts and Transactions, Paragraph C, on unauthorized disclosure of misuse of confidential information, and generally Section 4 on commitment on public interest. The use of school materials for private gain is a violation of principle. The public property shall be used judicially and for official purpose only. The main idea is the proper use of government property and public funds. The teacher violates the duty to commit the public interest and abuse the right to use government facilities. Question number 4. Can a teacher hold a political position while in active service? According to RA 6713, specifically Section 7, Prohibited Acts and Transactions, Paragraph B, on outside employment and activities. It generally prohibits officials from engaging in the private practice of their profession. It is if it conflicts with their official functions, which can extend to active political position. The main idea is full of dedication to official duties, while the teacher has the right to run for office. Once elected, the duty to the political office may clash with duty to the full-time teaching position, often necessitating to leave of absence to avoid the conflict. Question number 5. A teacher plays favorites with certain students. Is this allowed? According to RA 6713, specifically Section 4, Norms of Conduct, Paragraph A, commitment to public interest, and Paragraph D, justness and sincerity playing favorites is violation of the teacher's duty to act with justness and sincerity, to be fair and unbiased. The main idea is impartiality and equity. The teacher violates the duty to commit to public interest by failing to treat all students equally, thereby infringing on the students' right to fair treatment. Question number 6. A teacher is offered promotion in exchange for favors. What principles is violated? According to RA 6713, specifically Section 2, Declaration of Policy, and Section 7, Prohibited Acts and Transaction, Paragraph D, the exchange of promotions for favors is gross violation of principle and of accountability, and it's an act of corruption, bribery. The main idea is honesty and non-solicitation of favors. The teacher is placed in position where they must uphold their duty to refuse the bribe and report the violation, protecting the right to a promotion based to merit and fitness. Question number 7. How does RA 6713 ensure accountability and transparency in the teaching profession? According to RA 6713, specifically Section 4, Norms of Conduct, Paragraph G, on accountability to public and the requirements for filing and statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth, SALN, in Section 8, accountability is ensured by mandating public officials to report on their wealth and by requiring them to be responsive to the public and main idea to public scrutiny and responsibility. The teacher has duty to submit the truthful SALN and to act responsibly, which is the mechanism that enforces the public's right to hold them accountable. Question number 8. How does public trust relate to teacher behavior both inside the outside school? According to RA 6713, specifically Section 2, Declaration of Policy, public trust is the foundations stating that public office is the public trust. The main idea is the teacher's integrity must be unimpeachable at all times. This means the teacher's duty to uphold the ethical principles. The law is continuous and extends to their private life, ensuring they not compromise and public's confidence in the profession, thereby affirming their right to certain their office. Question number 9. A teacher failed to report a colleague's unethical act. Is silence a violation? According to RA 6713, specifically Section 4, Norms of Conduct, Paragraph C, a responsiveness to public and general spirit of Section 1, coverage of promoting a high standard and ethics silence on the part of colleague may be considered as violation of the duty to protect the integrity of the service. The main idea is the commitment to ethical standards and reporting corruption. The teacher has duty to act in the public interest, which includes reporting known unethical conduct to the proper authorities, even if they have the right to remain silent in other contexts. Question number 10. How does RA 6713 reinforce PPST Domain 6 community linkages and professional engagement? According to RA 6713, specifically Section 4, Norms of Conduct, Paragraph E, on professionalism and Paragraph G, on accountability to the public, the law reinforces PPST Domain 6 by mandating teachers to maintain a high degree of professionalism and accountability of their dealings with the community. The main idea is ethical interaction with stakeholders, the teacher's duty to act professionally and accountably ensures positive community engagement, which supports the teacher's right to be respected by the community. Letter D. RA 4670, Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. Question number 1. A teacher is transferred to other school without prior consultation. What right is violated? According to RA 4670, specifically Section 6, consists of transportation expenses. The involuntary transfer of a teacher to a possession is a place other than his original station without their consent is a violation. The main idea is the protection of tenure and security of employment. The teacher has the right to be consulted and to refuse the transfer unless the transfer is on account of administrative agencies, and the teacher is given a written notice and is paid unnecessary transfer expenses. Question number 2. A teacher works overtime without compensation. What provision applies? According to RA 4670, specifically Section 13, additional compensation, a teacher required to render services in excess of 6 hours of actual classroom teaching or to perform activities outside or the regular duties shall be paid additional compensation at the same rate of their regular remuneration plus the least 25% thereof. The main idea is fair compensation for extra work. The teacher has the right of this additional pay and the employer has the duty to grant it, which includes compensation for non-teaching duties like coaching or organizing events. Question number 3. How does RA 4670 ensure teacher protection against unjust dismissal? According to RA 4670, specifically Section 7, Code of Professional Ethics for Teachers, and Section 11, Academic Freedom, protection against unjust dismissal is guaranteed by requiring due process, specifying grounds for disciplinary action, and granting teachers security for tenure. The main idea is security for tenure and due process. The teacher has the right to be protected from arbitrary removal and must be afforded a fair hiring, which aligns with their duty to uphold professional ethics. Question number 4. A teacher faces health problems due overwork. What benefit applies? According to RA 4670, specifically Section 22, medical examination and treatment, teachers shall be given free annual medical examination and treatment and are generally protected by the benefits granted under the Section 24. Salaries to be paid during medical leave. The main idea is teacher welfare and health protection. The teacher has the right to this medical benefit and paid medical leave if they contract an illness in the discharge of their official duties in fulfillment of their duty to maintain their fitness to teach. Question number 5. A teacher on maternity leave is not paid. Is this legal? According to RA 4670, specifically Section 25, study leave, and generally supplemented by civil service rules and the later RA 11210. 105-day expanded maternity leave law. The failure to pay a teacher on maternity leave is illegal. The main idea is non-diminution of compensation for statutory leave. The teacher has right to full payment for the duration of maternity leave as a non-cumulative benefit, upholding the government's duty to protect teacher welfare. Question number 6. Can teacher form or join unions according to RA 4670? According to RA 4670, specifically Section 27, freedom to organize, teachers shall have the right without prior authorization to both establish and join organization to further and defend their interest. The main idea is the right to self-organization. This grants the teacher the right of collectively bargain and organize with aligns with their duty to engage professionally to secure the economic and social well-being. Question number 7. What are the rules regarding class size and workload? According to RA 4670, specifically Section 13, additional compensation and Section 14, abolition of compensation for administrative functions. The law limits the teacher's actual classrooms, teaching the 6 hours a day. The remaining 2 hours, the 8-hour workday, are the related duties, while class size is not explicitly fixed. The limitations on contact hours serves the main idea of reasonable workload and protection against burnout. The teacher has the right for the manageable workload to ensure their duty to provide quality instruction in not compromise. Question number 8. A teacher is suspended without due process. What legal right is violated? According to RA 4670, specifically Section 4, Administrative Investigation, and Section 9, Procedure for Investigation, a suspension without due process is a violation of the teacher's constitution right to due process. The main idea is protection from arbitrary disciplinary action. The teacher has the right to be informed of the charges, to appear with counsel, to present evidence, and to confront witnesses before any disciplinary action can be taken, which is the employer's duty to uphold. Question number 9. How does RA 4670 promote continuing professional education? According to RA 4670, specifically Section 24, salaries be paid during medical leave, and Section 25, study leave. The law promotes CPE by granting study leave privileges either with pay up to 1 year or without pay up to 1 year. For teachers to pursue further studies, the main idea is supported academic advancement. The teacher has the right to avail of study leave, which supports their duty to continuously upgrade their skills and qualification. Question number 10. How does RA 4670 supports PPSD as emphasizes on teacher welfare and growth? According to RA 4670, the entire act is legal framework for teacher welfare, supporting PPSD's focus on teacher growth, Domain 7, and professional engagement, Domain 6. The main idea is creation of a supportive environment for professional excellence by granting teachers the right to reasonable workload, just compensation, security to tenure and study leave. The law creates unnecessary physical and psychological conditions for the teachers to effectively fulfill their duty to implement high-quality teaching standards and articulated in the PPSD. Letter E. BP 3023-2, Education Act of 1982. Question number 1. A teacher discloses a student's confidential grades. Is this allowed under BP 23-2? According to BP 23.2, specifically Section 16, Right of Students, and Section 17, Rights of Parents, while not explicitly detailed, the disclosure of students' confidential grades to unauthorized third parties is a violation of students' and parents' right to privacy and confidentiality of school records. The main idea is protection of student privacy. The teacher has duty to maintain the confidentiality of school records, especially those relating to the student's performance, infringing upon the student's right to privacy. Question number 2. What rights do teachers have in school decision making? According to BP 232, specifically Section 10, Rights of all school personnel, Paragraph B, teachers have the right to participate in formulation of the appropriate curricular programs, including the curricular activities. The main idea is shared governance in academic matters. The teacher has the right to be consulted and effectively participate in decision-making processes related to curriculum and school management, supporting their duty to contribute to the institution's overall effectiveness. Let's move to question number 3. A teacher punishes a student physically. Does BP 232 permit this? According to BP 232, specifically Section 8, Duties and Responsibilities, a school personnel, Paragraph D, which mandates the teacher to refrain from inflicting any form of corporal punishment on any student. Physical punishment is strictly prohibited. The main idea is protection against corporal punishment. The teacher violates the duty to provide safe, nurturing environment, infringing on the student's right to be free from physical harm. Now let's move to question number 4. How does BP 232 define the teacher's role in national development? According to BP 232, specifically Section 4, Declaration of Goals, the teacher role is to defined as crucial in achieving national goals, particularly the acceleration of national development and the strengthening of the ethical and spiritual values. The main ideas is catalyst for national progress. The teacher has duty to provide quality education and inculcate patriotism and moral values, thereby affirming the right to recognize as the key player in nation building. And now let's move to question number 5. A student accuses a teacher as biased. How does BP 232 ensure fairness? According to BP 232, specifically Section 8, Duties and Responsibilities, a school personnel, Paragraph D, which mandates school personnel to maintain a professional attitude towards their work and towards the students' fairness, is ensured through the teacher's duty of impartiality and non-discrimination. The main idea is professional and ethical conduct. The teacher has the duty to treat all the students fairly and justly, which uphold the student rights to impartial evaluation and professional conduct. Question number 6. What are the teacher's basic duties to stipulated by BP 232? According to BP 232, specifically Section 8, Duties and Responsibilities of Schools Personnel, and basic duties, including performing their duties to the school in general and to the students in the particular, assuming responsibility for the progress of students, maintaining the professional attitude and refraining from corporal punishment. The main idea is professional responsibility and student welfare. The teacher has the duty to act professionally and responsibly in fulfillment of the student right to competent instruction. Let's move to question number 7. Can a teacher refuse to teach due lack of materials? According to BP 232, specifically Section 8, duties and responsibilities of personnel, the teacher has the duty to assume responsibility for the student's progress, while the law does not explicitly grant the right to refuse. A teacher has the right under Section 10 to participate in the formulation of curricular programs. The main idea is advocacy for quality resources. The teacher must first exercise their duty to inform the administration of the inadequacy and advocate for proper resources to ensure their duty to deliver quality instruction is not compromised. Let's move to question number 8. What rights do teachers have in curriculum implementation? According to BP 232, specifically Section 10, Rights of all school personnel, paragraph B. Teachers have the right to participate in the formulation of appropriate curricular programs, including co-curricular activities. The main idea is academic influence. The teacher has the right to contribute their professional expertise to the curriculum, affirming their duty to implement it effectively. Question number 9. A teacher is disciplined for promoting democracy in class. Is this a violation? According to BP 232, specifically Section 3, Declaration of Objectives, which includes the objective to inculcate in the citizenry the values of patriotism and nationalism, and respect for human rights. The discipline of teacher for promoting democracy would be violation of the spirit of the law. The main idea is promotion of democratic values. The teacher has the right to academic freedom and the duty to inculcate values necessary for a democratic society. Question number 10. How does BP 232 reflect to PPST focus on teacher accountability? According to BP 232, specifically Section 8, Duties and responsibilities of school personnel, the law reflects teachers' accountability by outlining explicit duties such as assuming responsibilities for students' progress and maintaining the professional attitude. The main idea is enumeration of professional duties. The teacher has the duty to adhere to these provisions, which serves as the legal backbone for the professional accountability expected across all domains of PPST. Let's move to letter F. The RA 1091-2, Continuing Professional Development, CPD, Act of 2016. Question number 1. A teacher refuses to earn CPD units, saying, "I've been teaching for years." What does the law state according to RA 1091-2, specifically Section 4, Statement of Policy? and Section 10 mandatory CPD as the prerequisite for the renewal of professional ID card. The law states that CPD is mandatory for the renewal of professional identification card or PIC, regardless of the years of service. The main idea is compulsory, lifelong learning. The teacher violates the duty to comply with CPD requirements, thereby forfeiting the right to renew their license and legally practice the profession. Question number 2. A teacher complains that CPD seminars and expensive can be refused compliance. According to RA 1091-2, specifically Section 4, Statement of Policy, the law does not allow refusal of compliance based on cost, as the policy is to promote and upgrade the quality of the teaching profession. The main idea is professional obligation outweighs financial complaints. The teacher has the duty to comply, although they have the right under Section 6, nature of CPD programs. The pursue cost-effective or free means of earning units such as professional work, experience, self-directed learning of organization activities. Question number 3. How does RA 10-912 encourage lifelong learning among teachers? According to RA 10-91-2, specifically Section 4, Statement of Policy, as Section 10, mandatory CPD, it encourages lifelong learning by making CPD mandatory for license renewal and by recognizing various learn. Question number 4. A teacher disciplines a student and is accused of a child abuse. What's the boundary? According to Republic Act No. 7610, Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation and Discrimination Act, and the Prohibition of Corporal Punishment in BP 232, the boundary is that discipline must be non-violent and non-humiliating. The main idea is reasonable and humane discipline. The teacher has the right to exercise reasonable disciplinary authority, their duty, but this authority is strictly limited by the principle that any act causing physical and psychological injury is considered child abuse. Question number 5. How does being a person in authority elevate teacher respect in society? According to Commonwealth Act No. 578, this designation legally elevates teacher respect by vesting them with the legal power of enforce rules and maintaining their dignity with commensurate legal penalties for assault or resistance. The main idea is legal status of sanction. This grants the teacher the right to be respected and obeyed within the school premises and affirming their duty to maintain other and professionalism. Question number 6. What should a teacher do if the student refuses to obey class rules? According to the teacher status of a person in authority and the duties under BP 232, the teacher should be exercise their reasonable disciplinary authority by imposing penalties that are stipulated in the school student handbook and commensurate with the offense. The main idea is enforcement of the rules and professional authority. The teacher has the duty to maintain order, and the student's duty is to obey the rules enforced by the teacher within the bounds of due process. Question number 7. A student destroys school's property. What action can a teacher take? According to the teacher's status of a person in authority, the teacher can take personable disciplinary action as per school rules, such as reporting the acts of administration, recommending restitution for the damage, and initiating necessary disciplinary sanctions. The main idea is protection of school assets and enforcement the responsibility. The teacher has the duty to protect school's property in fulfillment of the student's right to a well-maintained learning environment. Now let's move to question number 8. What are the consequences of disrespecting a teacher under the law? According to Commonwealth Act number 578 and the revised penal code, disrespecting a teacher is the performance of their duties, especially through physical assault or grave oral defamation, can lead to criminal prosecution. Example, direct assault, oral defamation. The main idea is legal deterrence for attacks on authority figures. The consequences is the activation of the teacher's right to file a criminal complaints against the offender, stemming from their duty to maintain the dignity of their office. Question number 9. Can a teacher be punished for protecting themselves during a confrontation? According to the revised penal code, specifically the principle of the self-defense, Article 1, under Article 11, a teacher cannot be criminally punished for protecting themselves provided the elements of self-defense are present. Unlawful aggression, reasonable necessity of a means employed, and lack of sufficient provocation. The main idea is legally justifiable self-preservation. The teacher has the fundamental right to self-defense while performing their duty to maintain order and personal safety. Now let's move to last question, to question number 10. How can this concept promote peace and order within the school community? According to the principle of a teacher, a person in authority, this concept promote peace and order by establishing the teacher's legal authority to enforce rules, thereby determining disruptive or aggressive behavior from both students and external parties. The main idea is empowerment of authority to maintain and say a safe environment. This legal status reinforces the teacher's duty to be an agent of order, ensures the entire community can enjoy the right to safe and conducive learning environment.